Okay, guys, welcome to another weekly market review session. Okay, let's get straight into it. So we are officially in the start of November. Again, last week was very, very interesting in the market. Okay, if we take a look at my FinVis over here, the last week, the 1 week performance, literally all green in the markets, right? It was a bullish week, fantastic performance by the individual stocks. If we take a look at the S&P 500, over 1 week, QQQ and SPY were up 5.85% and 6.49% respectively. Okay, so again, like I mentioned in my previous video last week, if you took a look at the charts for SPY, we hit a potential bottom, okay, for the time being, and I mentioned that in the video as well. And then we had a pull back up and movement up. Okay, so for those of you who bought shares, or like I've been telling you, dollar cost averaging down for your long-term investments or position trading, then congratulations on doing that for yourself. Okay, definitely a good move to catch some of the low price points in the market. All right. Now, next thing I want to look at, all right, is the charts. So you can see, okay, this is my S&P 500. This is my 1 year, 1 day chart. And like you can see on my line over here, like I showed you guys last week, very simple, went down. Every time it hits my line, it bounces up, went down to my line, bounced up, and again, trying to break, right, going below my line, and now we had a movement up. So this was the move for last week, and this was a pretty strong movement, guys. Okay, if I draw for you guys how much this movement was, so if I take my ruler over here, I start from the bottom and go all the way up. Okay, guys, you can see literally a 6.63% move up last week. All right, so again, that is quite a movement for the S&P 500 in 1 week. Very bullish, fantastic moves. Okay, so the question is, where can we go from here? Okay, for November and as we approach the end of the year. So first thing first, okay, let's see my seasonality. So if you look at my seasonality, okay, so I took it over 20 years. And if you see, generally for November and December, these are, especially November, this coming month, it tends to be more bullish. Okay, December still bullish, not as much as November or some of the other months, but still better than average. Okay, so again, November and December, seasonality wise for past 20 years, November and December, pretty decent. The next thing is this being a pre-election year. Okay, pre-election year. Taking a look at the charts, if you can see the pre-election year seasonality, typically how the government would want it, or US markets would want it, is to not let the markets go down because it's a pre-election year, they're gunning for election. They wouldn't want a bear market on their hands. Okay, so if you can see for the month of October, typically it comes down, okay, towards the end of October, and you can see very clearly after that, comes down, maybe goes sideways for a bit. That is how the trend goes. If we look at my S&P 500 charts, okay, you can see the exact same thing for October, coming down, okay, and moving a bit to the side over here, and then now pulling back up. Okay, so again, pre-election year coming down like what it did, and now it's slowly coming back up. And you can see, like I said, November to December, really a strong movement and rally. Okay, so that's how the seasonality is like. Now, am I saying for sure that it's going to go up? No, all right. I'm just following against the seasonality over a period of time, all right, 20 years, 30 years period. I wouldn't want to go against the typical history of the price patterns. Okay, so how do you approach this? Very simple. Okay, so number one, I'm going to go on my hourly chart. Okay, so we're going to go to my hourly chart. Okay. All right, so again, we're on my hourly chart right now, and you can see as of now for my downtrend, okay, we went up, came back down, tested again, went back down, and you can see last week, guys, broke out of my line, okay, and went above. Okay, so fantastic movement by the S&P 500, finally broke my downtrend line. Okay, now again, another examination that I was taking a look at is my FIBO. Okay, so if I draw my FIBO, okay, so typically, again for FIBO, the 50% level is a strong level that needs to be broken for a possible sign of reversal. You can see over here, my 50% level previously on this movement, the prices hovered and they struggle to break very strong resistance level for this. Okay, but if I draw right now, based on how the trend has been, okay, so we're taking from here all the way down to here. You can see very nicely that we have broken already my 50% level on this particular trend, all right? And not just broken, guys, we even gapped up, all right? So there is a gap up over here, and there is even another gap over here. Okay, so again, very, very strong movement for the S&P 500. Now, where or what are the levels you should take note of? Okay, please take note of this. Okay, so let me draw for myself. Okay, so very simply gap up on this point. What I feel, all right, or possible scenario is this, okay? Okay. So a possible scenario is this, having broken this, the price, all right, what is healthy is the price go up and above, come back down, test the line again, and then make its way up. Okay, this is what will be a healthy retracement or healthy move down and start to go up from here. That's what I personally feel will happen this week. It rose too much already because if I look at it, all right, the S&P 500, really from last week all the way to here, 6% movement. It's not a normal move in the market. It has rose quite quickly. So again, when you move too quickly, move too fast upwards, or any specific volatile movement too quickly, there tends to be choppiness. So if you move up too fast or move down even too fast, you tend to go sideways for a bit before you find your next direction. Okay, so what are the critical levels to look out for? Number one is here. Okay, so my 430 level, okay, if you can see, guys, this is a bit of a confluence point. Why? Is because my downtrend line is over here, plus my first level of support. Okay, so a bit of a confluence, both of my lines intersecting. So again, like I mentioned, price coming down to here and then bouncing off. Okay, this would be a good movement or a good reversal sign. Okay, the next one is here. All right, so this point here, the next gap, all right, you can see a second gap over here. And then the last one is here. Now, I think 410 a bit, or again, quite far off because this is literally close to the bottom, or like I mentioned, what I perceive as the bottom for now. So again, 431 and 423, this would be the levels I look out for. All right, ideally, I want to bounce at 430 and push back up. If not, then it will break, comes down to 423, may go sideways before it finds its movement up. Okay, so this is how the S&P 500 is shaking out. Now, even for QQQ, you can see very nicely, okay, we have been in this downtrend, all right? So you can see the price has gone up, try to break, cannot break, bounce at support, go up, cannot break, go up, cannot break, come down, go up again, hit resistance, cannot break, go to support, and now coming up again. Okay, so highly likely, guys, what will happen? The price will probably pull back down, and then based on the seasonality, probably go up, break past this trend line, and we have movement ahead and up and onwards. Okay, so that's how the seasonality is shaking out for S&P 500 QQ. So very simple. A lot of people are asking, so what's the game plan? Right? How is TWC community positioning themselves? Number one, day trading. All right. So we'll be focusing on day trading, taking each day of the market as it goes. We've been using options to make amazing profits on a day-to-day basis, right? Making daily income for our portfolios and growing our wealth. Second thing, when it comes to investments or position trading, long-term investments, typically 10 to 20 years or more, or position trading, even holding a stock for the next 6 months, 1 year. Again, I've been saying when prices were down and coming down, that was the best time to dollar cost average into those positions. Okay, so if you have done that, fantastic, right? If you have not, position trades, maybe not, but for long-term investments, yes, still decent levels. Please make sure you have been adding some shares or try to add some shares to your portfolio. Okay. Lastly, right, swing trading, wouldn't do it yet until it breaks out of my key levels and remains bullish. Okay, once that happens, then I'll feel more confident to go in for my swing trades. All right, so QQ got to break my downtrend. SPY as well also has to hold the levels like I mentioned, 430 just now. All right, so hold 430 over here, maintain and come back up. If you can hold those levels and go back up, then probably I will look at potential swing trades. Right? Now, last thing for the week, Forex Factory. Okay, so I just want to tell you guys, Forex Factory, this week, Jerome Powell is speaking on Wednesday. So for those of you who are trading, please take note of this. He again feels that inflation has not been curbed. It's still high, with the job market still being strong and employment still very high. He feels there's a long way more to go to curb this. So whatever he says may cause volatile movement. Number one. Number two, here he is speaking again. All right, he is speaking again on Friday. Again, tricky market to trade. Okay, so please be careful when you're trading. Take note of these events that are happening. Market may not have the direct or very clear directional movement unless or until these events actually happen. All right, so take note of these events and when it's happening. All right, and with that, guys, that is the end of this week's weekly market review session. Okay, again, follow the seasonality. Try not to go against the trend of the seasonality. All right, like I mentioned over here, you can see November, December, typically more bullish months. So if history were to repeat that pattern, likely we will see the same. Okay, look out for SPY for those levels that I mentioned. Okay, my 430 levels, 423, and then for QQQ as well, look out for it breaking the downtrend line, right? So I urge you guys go and draw this channel for yourself so you can monitor the pattern and price of the stock. All right. So with that, come to the end of the session. Nothing else from me. So take care, guys. Stay safe and have a great week ahead.